it possible that X39 can protect us against 5G?
So we do have some preliminary data to that effect. And we've been exploring this with X39 and X49. Wow. And here was the hypothesis that I had about this, is that first, I'm really glad that you asked the question, because we know that 5G is becoming a very serious problem today, and people aren't looking at what are the immediate and the potential long-term effects of this. We know going back through 2G and 3G networks that there was work done at the University of Colorado School of Medicine showing tissue heating in the brain for people that were keeping their cell phones up against their head. We had done clinical studies a number of years ago, and we were working with SGS, and they're a very, very well-known testing lab like UL, for example. And we wanted to look at these tissue heating properties of the radiation that's coming out of cell phones. So, one thing that would be important for people to know is that cell phones are using the same frequency as a microwave oven, 2.4 gigahertz. And the reason why a microwave is able to heat water or vegetables or whatever you put in there, which you shouldn't, is that it's causing the water molecules to rotate. And this creates friction in the water, which creates the heating. So the microwave is inductively transferring energy from the microwave head over into whatever is inside the microwave oven. So you get that transfer of energy. And it's really no different than with the human body. So, first thing that I would recommend is that people do not put their cell phones up against their head. Keep it on speaker, keep it away from the body. But, the problem, of course, is that we're now living in this environment where Bluetooth, 5G, Wi-Fi is everywhere. Yeah. And what do? Well, God has given us the ability to adapt. And, human beings have been able to adapt to some pretty extraordinary things over the past, how many thousands of years, however long it's been, right? Human beings have been able to adapt and survive. And my personal belief is that we have the ability to be upgraded and to adapt. So how would we go about this? Well, in physics, if we wanted to isolate, we wanted to perform an experiment and we wanted to isolate something from electromagnetic radiation, we would use what's called a Faraday cage. And a Faraday cage would be a copper screen that's grounded. So you put something inside this box made of a copper mesh, and then you ground it, and electromagnetic energy can't get through. And so as I began to think about this, I thought, well, the skin is loaded with copper peptide, and it decreases with age. And there's actually two different forms of copper peptide that we work with, GHK and AHK. They're both found in the skin. They both have benefits for the skin, but they both have some extraordinary effects. They're related to one another. They're like a mother-daughter peptide relationship. One is very broad, one's a little bit more narrow. But I thought, okay, maybe what we could do by elevating both of these peptides simultaneously is form a network of the peptides in the skin that will act like a Faraday cage. So Onyx was kind enough to refer me to a biochemist that was very interested in doing this work. I contacted a medical doctor that I knew that is heavily involved in energy medicine and has patients that are electromagnetically sensitive. And I said, okay, let's go ahead and see if this hypothesis could prove to be true. So we started to get some data back from the biochemist and from that study saying, yeah, there is an effect here. People that are wearing X39 and X49 are getting a reduction in their sensitivity to 5G. Then went to the medical doctor and said, hey, you've really got something here. What I'm finding with my patients is that about 3 days after they start using X39 and X49, their symptoms from 5G are disappearing. So I would say we haven't proven yet that it is an effective means to block against 5G, but we certainly have some evidence that looks like it's going in that direction, that they are going to be useful tools in helping to protect people from this.